Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final day of workshop. Today we will have session on factor analysis. Professor Somasundaram is a resource person for today's session. Since Sir handled session 1 on the first day of workshop, there is no need for any introduction. So without much delay, I hand over the session to Professor Somasundaram. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Maxine, sir. Okay, very good evening to all the participants. Welcome back to the final day session on factor analysis. Okay, so since there are 25 participants are there, okay, just we will take a...
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, your voice is echoing, sir.
Okay, now is it fine, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so since the participants are ready to join, okay, we will take just short review, recap on the past 6 days, right? Okay, so then we will start our session. So by that time, the other remaining participants also will join. Okay, and we hope that all the past 7 days, everyone had a very good way of learning about the various statistical tools. Starting from the day 1 onwards, you learned how to, what kind of a scale is needed, what type of a data, what type of a variables you need to select what kind of a statistical analysis, right? So based on that, you have learned from day 1 onwards. In day 2, you learned about how to import the data, how to enter the data in the SPSS, as well as you learned how to find out the normality and the reliability to prove how your data is valid and reliable for your research study. And followed by that, you have learned about the t-test, paired t-test, independent sample t-test, and ANOVA, chi-square, and regression, correlation. So each and every day, you have learned one statistical tool and how to analyze that, and what kind of a data you need, what kind of a scale you have to choose, for what variables you have to use what analysis, and based on that you got the output, and from the output, by comparing the significance value, you learned how to interpret, right? So for the past 6 days, you all learned about the univariate and bivariate techniques, right? So this is basically, these are the basic analysis we need to do, and this is also required from the publisher side, okay, as well as from the guide, right? Nowadays, if you see nowadays, the almost every research scholar, the guide, as well as the reviewer, editor, they're expecting to go for some multivariate analysis, right? Multivariate analysis. We know, basically, we know how to calculate mean, median, mode, and how to compare 2 different variables. Sir, I want to find out the relationship of variable 1 and variable 2. I want to find out that which variable is having a more impact on the other variable. All these things you can done, or all these things you can do with the help of univariate and bivariate analysis. But the other important thing is, nowadays, most of the research scholars and the reviewers, editor, the guide are expecting to come out with some multivariate analysis techniques in your research articles, right? It is not that simply you can complete the articles, writing the articles with putting only descriptive statistics or some other thing. But nowadays you're expecting more and more. Okay, so among that multivariate analysis, in the day 1 itself, I had shown you, right, what all the analysis will comes under univariate, bivariate, and then multivariate. So out of that multivariate techniques, the most common analysis used by all the people is called factor analysis. Okay, nowadays this is very, very important. Why factor analysis is very, very important in the sense is when we are doing research, right, we have a lot of sources. From various sources, we able to collect a different information. With the help of your supporting articles through the literature review, you got various articles, and when you're reviewing all your articles, you are able to get a lot of information, okay, to do carry out your research work, because that much source we have. From the various sources, we are able to collect more number of variables, more number of factors. But sometimes we have a confusion that whether those variable or the particular factor will be helpful for our research work or not. So to make that, to confirm that, to explore those factors or the variables, okay, most of the things a factor analysis is used. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss today. So with that, we will continue the session, and I will start the sessions with the factor analysis. Today's sessions will be like goes will in this way. First, I'll explain you what is a factor analysis, right? What is factor analysis? Followed by that, there are different terminologies are there. When you're going for factor analysis, there are different terminologies are there. We will go one by one. What is those terminology? And similarly, you have to know what you will get different output tables when you're doing a factor analysis. You have to know what are the different types of factor analysis are. The one is EFA, CFA, exploratory factor analysis, confirmatory factor analysis there. Followed by that, we will discuss about what are all the outputs. Once if you've done a factor analysis, in the output window, you will get different tables. Okay, what are the tables you record to give interpretations for your factor analysis? That is also we will do. Okay, so after this, I will show some example, and I will show the screenshot of what are the options that you have to choose from each and SPSS window. And after that, I will work out one data set. Okay, and followed by that, already Sar has shared the sample data file to you. Okay, and any participants can go through the sample data, and you can just share your screen and you can work out. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. I will start sharing the screen now. Yes, so I hope everyone can able to see the screen, right? Fine. So this is a final day, final session. So today we are going to discuss about the one of the important multivariate statistical analysis called factor analysis, right? Okay. First thing is you should know what is factor analysis, right? Sir, I have, for example, I'll start with the example. For example, if you take one variable, you have overall variable called job satisfaction, right? How job satisfaction can be measured? How that particular variables can be measured? Can anyone can put it in the chat box? How particular variables can be measured? How the overall satisfaction of the employees can be measured? Can participants can put some information, something in the chat box, sir. Salary, very good. Salary is a one factor, very good. Then any other factor? Reward, very good. Reward, good. Working arrangement. It's nothing but the working environment, working schedule, working hours, okay, working pattern. All this is comes under the single category. Very good. Very good. Okay, then can I get two more factors? Relationship, superior subordinate relationship, employee-employee relationship, colleague relationship, team building, whatever it is, fine. Position, designation, responsibility, right? Good. Okay, fine. So see, for measuring a job satisfaction, that is the overall variable for you, because your study talks about that. Your study wants to prove that job satisfaction of the among the employees. To measure the job satisfaction, there are various factors out there. You cannot say that, sir, salary is the only factor, or relationship, superior subordinate relationship is the only factor. So the job satisfaction can be measured by using a various factor, right? Factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, factor 4, factor 5. So, sir, for job satisfaction, for example, you take for job satisfaction, I have 32 factors or 35 factors. Is it necessary that I need to use all the 35 factors? No. Because I told you, right? Some people told that relation, position, work environment, work arrangement. See, now if you talk about work environment, work arrangement, work schedule, working hours, you can put all these factors into some common factor. Maybe work ergonomics, right? Work ergonomics. Like that, we can put some terms which resembles the same synonyms of the other factors also. So in that case, sir, I want to reduce. Through the literature review, I got that these are the factors I can use for measuring the outcome variable called job satisfaction. So how I can use, whether I can use all the 35 factors or can I reduce it? Yes, you can reduce. So you can reduce the 35 factors into 5 or 6 or 4. Right? So that concept is called as a factor analysis. As much as factors you have to measure your outcome variable, the overall variable of your research study, to reduce that into a few factor analysis is used. Did you understood? Did you understood the basic definition, or you can call it as a meaning, or whatever it is? Everyone understood what is factor analysis now? To reduce the number of factors into a few factors, we have to use a factor analysis, right? So here, under factor analysis, there are different ways are there, right? So this is options that you have to use in the SPSS. Go to analyze. There is option called dimension reduction. Dimension reduction. There you will have option called factor analysis, right? This is the option that you have to choose in the SPSS. Okay, so that we'll go to later. Now I will say one more examples also. See, now as a retail store manager, sir, I want to I want to come out with a strategy, okay, to know about the store performance. And you identify that there are some 80 variables are there, right? 80 variables are there. 80 factors are there. One may be the location, one may be the accessibility, before service, after service, delivery, okay, working time, okay, all those things you can say like that, you can say many things, but all these things you cannot measure it directly, or sometimes there are certain factors will repeat again. When you're talking about working environment, why you want to talk about the work ergonomics, or why you want to talk about the work location, almost similar, right? You can put everything into a common factor. So to reduce that only, we have to use a factor analysis, right? So here, some people, they may have a doubt, or they may have they want to know that, sir, I already know about the factor. Through the various literature review, I know about the factor. Okay, I got only 3 factor or 4 factor. In that case, there's no need to explore your factor. Directly go to the factor analysis and confirm. Under each factor, you prepare some questions, which is called as items. I will tell you each and every factors. Okay, the variable should have 5 items, minimum 5 items. So, for example, you have 5 variables or the 5 factors to measure your overall variable. That under each factor, you should have 5 items. Therefore, 25 questions you have to ask to know whether all those 5 factors will be useful for research work or not. Right? So in that case, if you're confirmed with the factor, but I want to know that which questions will come under which factor, whether question number or the item number 4 will come under the factor 1 or factor 2. To confirm that, okay, to know that, to verify that, you can do a confirmatory factor analysis. That is what the final thing. But if you have only the variables, sir, I have a lot of variables or the factors, sir. I have a lot of factors on that. For example, 10 factors I have, 20 factors I have. But my objective is I want to measure this variable, overall variable, the outcome variable. And out of this 10, 15 factors, which factors will have a high impact? Or can we reduce that 15 factors into a 5 factor as a major factor so that it will give a proper outcome from a research? So for that purpose only, we will be using a factor analysis. So there is a 2 concepts are there. I will show you the next slide. See the next slide. There is no concept that you have to use only dependent or independent, irrespective of the variables you can use, but ensure that or whatever the variables you are listing, right? What are the items or what are the factors are there. Okay, under each factor, you'll be having a 5 different items, five items, minimum 5 items should be there. Those, when you are measuring those items, ensure that all the items, that is all the questions should be common rating scale, measurement scale. Either you have to use a 5-point scale or 7-point scale. There, you should not change anything. It is not that, sir, one questions as yes or no, one questions 3-point scale, one questions 5-point scale, one question open-ended question, and all these items questions comes under one factor. So I use factor analysis? No. When you want to do a factor analysis, ensure that whatever the items, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under factor 1, item number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 under factor 2, all those items should be measured with the common measurement scale. That is a one and only condition factor analysis. Right? Understood now? And ensure that, sir, what sample size we need. Okay, so if you have minimum sample size of 100, you can go ahead with the factor analysis. So that means how I can calculate the sample size in the sense is, sample size should be the 5 times of your variables. For example, sir, through the literature review, I found out that there are 20 factors are there. There are 20 factors are there which measures my overall variable. So 20 into 5. For example, you have 30 into 5. You have 15 into 5. That much sample you need to collect minimum. I'm talking about minimum to make your factor analysis to give a proper output. So that is the things you need to know when you're doing a factor analysis. Right? Now you understood what is factor analysis and you understood when you have to use it and how much sample size you needed to do a factor analysis. Clear? Okay. And next thing is types of factor analysis. Now, I already told you, right? Now I had sent a sample data also. Okay, you can see 2 different samples there. Whatever the sample I'm going to work, okay, that is comes with exploratory factor analysis. That means I don't know the factor, but I have 10 different variables. I have 10 different factors, but I don't know whether I can put all the 10 factors into a common 1 or 2 or 3 factors. I don't know, because I want to measure the overall performance or overall outcome. So I want to explore my variable to find out that how many variables, okay, will be come under the how many factors. So when you want to explore that particular factor variables and then to confirm that yes, you can, out of this 10 variables or 20 variables, 6 variables you can put under factor 1, 6 variables you can put under factor 2, and 8 variables you can put under factor 3. Okay, this explorating the factor and confirming it, that comes under the exploratory factor analysis. That is the initial steps for doing a factor analysis. And then after that, based on the output table, then we can finalize that, sir, from my output table, I am going to have 3 factors, which was given by SPSS output. So factor number 1, under factor number 1, I am confirming that these are all the items comes under the factor number 1. And factor number 2, these are all the items comes under the factor number 2. So that confirmation comes under the confirmatory factor analysis. And sometimes, I already told you, right, this is when you're not having a clarity on your factor. I have a lot of variables are there with me, lot of factors are there with me, but I don't know how many factors are interrelated together. Whether number 1, number 2 are correlated each other, so that I can put the 2 factors as a one common factor. That clarity I need, so that I want to explore the factor and I want to confirm it. In that situations, you have to use this factor analysis. So from the literature, for example, you take there are new topics. When you are doing a research on job certification, you may have a lot of articles are there. You will get lot of variables, not only 30, 35, 40, 50 variables you can able to find out. 30, 50 factors you can able to find out. But think, for example, I'm telling, nowadays, if you take HR, in HR, there is a new topic, okay, undergoing a research, right? Job crafting. And finance, if you take cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, marketing, digital marketing, green marketing. So if you take all those things, sometimes you will not get enough literature. You will not get enough number of articles to review. And whatever the articles you have collected, whatever you have, maximum number of articles you have, After reviewing it, maximum you will get 4 or 5 factors or 4 or 5 variables, which is relevant for your study. So in that case, you have only 5 or 4, right? You have only 5 or 4 factors or variables. That what you can do is, if you want to check, okay, whether it is relevant for my study or not, whether it will be applicable for the study or not, you can go to the factor analysis, you can confirm the factor, or you can do correlation matrix also. You can do correlation matrix also. But when you have a more number of factors, okay, which determines your overall frequency, ensure that we need to have a clarity that which all the factors, okay, are interrelated or correlated to have an impact on our outcome variable. So that confirmation will be done only with the help of the factor analysis. So explore the factor analysis, explore the various factors, and based on the output, confirm that finally my 20 or 30 factors or the variables that's puts under the 5 factor or 4 factor. Okay, that determination of a number of factors, right? Whether you want to put it under 3 or 4 or 5, that we can decide in the SPSS also. Or if you don't want to decide, means SPSS itself will give the output. Okay, we'll divide and we'll give the output, right? So this is what the basic theoretical concept about what is a factor analysis. Clear? So see, I want to explore the factors. I don't know whether the particular variable comes under the factor 1 or factor 2. Sometimes there are some variables, right? For example, job satisfaction. It is not that only the salary can able to measure the job satisfaction. Okay, even the salary also may be helpful for you to measure some other outcome variables also. So which variables? Okay, that is also you can go. So this is what the exploratory factor analysis, and this is what the confirmatory factor is. So once if it is confirmed, then you can take and write that. So all these variables, for example, items, question number 10 and question number 5, question number 4, question number 3, or item number 10, item number 9, item number 5, or item number 4, all these 4 items comes under the one common factor called factor 1. And item number 13, item number 12, item number 1, item number 19, item number 18 comes under factor number 2. So like that, you can confirm the factor analysis from the output table. Output table, there is a value called factor loading. From the factor loading, you can able to confirm it, right? So this is what EFA and CFA. This is what EFA and CFA. See, these are some of the terminologies that you need to know. One is a factor, okay, which able to measure your outcome variable, right? And factor loading. Factor loading will give you the value, okay, how the particular variable is close to factor 1, factor 2, factor 3. Sometimes I told you, right? Sometimes salary, that is a one factor called salary. Salary will be applicable to 2 more variables also, 2 more outcome variables also, not only for a job certification. Maybe your expenses, or maybe some other variables that you want to measure for research. So in that cases, sir, for which one the salary factor will have a major impact, either for the factor 1 or for the factor 2. That we can decide based on the factor loading value. When you see the output table, you'll understand what is that factor loading value, right? And similarly, eigenvalue. Eigenvalue, what do you mean by eigenvalue? In the sense, eigenvalue to give a confirmation that what are all the possibilities for your variables, for your items or the factors that you want to use, and converting into a number of factors. That means, sir, I have 20 variables, right? 20 variables or 30 factors I have. And how the 20 or 30 factors, how many factors it can be put into, or it can be compressed. Okay, 30 factors can be compressed to 5. 20 factors can be put under 4 factors. That confirmations you will decide, okay, based on the eigenvalue. That means it will indicate that whatever the items that are using, for example, you are using some 20 items or 25 items under each factors. So out of the 25, 30 items, okay, it will say that you can put this 30 items under 4 factor. That means in the eigenvalue, in the total variance output table, it shows that there is a possibility to make all these 30 items or the variables into a 4 factors. That means it will show only the four factors, components, eigenvalues, either one or more than one. Either one or more than one. That shows that, okay, your 20 items or the 30 items can be put under 3 factors. That confirmation you can get from seeing the eigenvalue in the total variance table. That is what the eigenvalue. And the KMO Bartlett's test, okay, that's to know whether your sample is adequate or not. Once if you get the value of KMO is more than 0.6, that indicates that your sample is adequate. Okay, you got enough sample to confirm your factors, right? And finally, the total variance, there is a table called total variance table. To know about that, what is a percentage? That means whether all the items that you want to measure or your outcome variable, whether all are relevant, that we can set the value in the SPSS. One of the options is there. Under the option, there is a option to enable the coefficient column. If you enable that coefficient column, we can set the value. By seeing that value, we can ensure that yes, all these 20 items or all these 10 variables are required for the particular factor. That confirmation also we can suppose if any one of the variables or the items shows that it is less than the particular value, less than the particular coefficient value, then you can remove that particular item or a variable. You don't need to include in your study because that doesn't give any meaning. That confirmation also we can get it from the table, output table called total variance extracted. Right. So these are all the very important terminologies that you need to know under factor analysis. Right. So I hope you understood the basic theory concept. Now, for example, see, I'll show you there are 16 questions or items they're asking to know about your client satisfaction. Then whether I can, for how many factors, okay, I need to measure that. Okay, whether is there any similar factors or other among that 16. So to confirm that we are going for a factor analysis. And once if you're going a factor analysis through the output table, you can able to get a confirmation, right? So now here, based on this example, I will show you the screenshot. See, in the factor analysis, this is the first option. Please make a note of it. First, go to the analyze, dimension reduction, and then factor. Analyze, dimension reduction, factor. This is the first step that you want to do it in the factor analysis after importing the data. Now, the second one is, once if you go to the factor analysis, see here, what are all the variables, right? What are the items that are listed in the left-hand side? Select that and move on to the right-hand side. That you know, because every day you are working in the spaces, so you know. Okay. Now, in factor analysis, ensure that you have enabled all these options which is shown here in the screenshot. Okay. First one is, if you go to descriptive, there is a first option called descriptive, right? If you go to descriptive, you have to choose coefficient. Initially, the coefficient option will not be enabled. It will be disabled. You have to choose coefficient option and give continue, right? Second one is extraction. Second one is extraction. Under the extraction, ensure that there is a method called principal component method. It will be default, but ensure that it is a principal component method. And you have to enable the screen plot option. See, screen plot. Initially, it will not be enabled, it will be disabled. We have to choose the screen plot. Why we have to choose a screen plot is through the screen plot, that is, it's like a diagrammatic representation. Through the screen plot, it will show that, sir, your 20 variables or your 30 items can be put into a 5-factor or 4-factor. That will be strong for your study. Remaining things, okay, if you are dividing your 30 items or 20 items into 10 factors, 15 factors, doesn't give any meaning. Okay, to ensure that how many factors will be strong, how many strong factors you will get for your variables or the items that are using in your research. That confirmations, okay, you can represent, you can show it in a diagrammatic way. For that purpose only, we need a screen plot. When you get the output, you will understand what is that. Okay, screen plot. So enable that screen plot in the second option called extraction. Right? And here below that, see, Based on eigenvalue greater than will be 1. That will be default. No need to change that. That will be default, no need to change. So after enabling that options, you continue, right? Next, third one is the third one, rotation. After enabling the coefficient option in descriptive, after enabling scree plot options in extraction, next go to the third option called rotation. When you select rotation, see the screenshot C. There will be option, right? There are different options called none, Varimax, direct, oblumini, Quantimax, Equimax. So here you have to enable Varimax option. Initially, it will not be enabled. We need to enable that option, Varimax. Varimax. What do you mean by Varimax? Varimax is the observation of variable maximization. Varimax is the abbreviation of variable maximization. So what do you mean by that, sir? See, I told you, right, salary. It is not that salary is the only variable to measure your outcome. No, salary may be one of your variable for measuring your outcome. At the same time, salary will also be another factor, another variables to measure the another outcomes also. So to maximize, when you see the factor loading table, you can understand that so the particular variable or item has two values. One value in the under factor 1, another value in factor 3. That means this particular item or a variable you can use under factor 1 also, factor 3 also. That is the meaning it shows. That means it indicates that maximization of the variable. If you are not giving that maximize very max, then sometimes all the variables or items will become under only one factor, or majority of the items or variables will come under only one factor. Right? That doesn't give a good for your research part. So in that case, sir, how I can make my variables okay and use in a maximum level for a different factors, whether the same item or a variable can be used for factor 1 and factor 3, or factor 2 and factor 4, or factor 2 and factor 1. That possibilities it will give when you enable the option called Varimax, right? And after that output table, there is another output table. From the output table, you can get the confirmation by comparing the two value, which value is highest in which factor. Based on that, you can select this variable can be put it in the factor 1 alone, because under factor 1 only it has a high value, under factor 3 it has low value. So that comparison you can do. But for maximizing the variable, that you have to choose Varimax option. So this is the third option that you need to enable under option called rotation. Clear? And under scores, you don't need to do anything. Okay, and there is another option called options. Last option, D, options. Here you have to select two important things. One is sorted by size. There is an option called sorted by size, right? You have to enable that. And next thing is, see, there is a one box is there, right? Absolute value below 0.30. Here you can fix the value. Minimum standard value is a 0.4. From 0.4 to 0.6, they will fix. Okay, what is that, sir? What is that coefficient value? Why we need to fix that value? Now I told you, right? So I have used 10 variables, or I used 20 items, 25 items to get confirmation on my factor. Okay, and how that I can confirm that this item or this variables can be put into the factor 1 based on the coefficient value, which is called as a factor loading. Okay, that should be more than that value which we are going to fix here. For example, if it is in the screen, it shows 0.3. So the particular item or the variable value should show 0.3 or more than that. If it shows that, then you can consider this as an item or a variable under any one of the factor. Suppose, for example, you ask some 20 items, 25 items you are asking. In that 18th questions gives a value 0.20 or 0.25. That means which is less than this 0.30. So you can conclude that that particular questions will not give any impact for us, or you can remove that. Now you need to add. you can remove that. So for that confirmations only, we need to fix a coefficient absolute value, which value you are expecting to set to confirm your variables under which factor. So basically, okay, default research scholars will fix 0.4, minimum 0.4, maximum 0.6. Don't go beyond 0.6 also. Don't go above 0.6 also. Don't go beyond 0.4 also. Otherwise, then finally it will get very difficult to make your factors, compress your factor into a small factors. Again, you need to go for ITH2. Again, you need to find out other factors also. So better you can fix minimum 0.4, maximum 0.6, right? So these are all the important options that you need to look into it, select, and then give OK to do the factor analysis, right? Is it clear now? I'll once again, I'll repeat. Once if you open a factor analysis, select all the variables or the items which is in the left hand side and move to the right hand side where it is shown in the first screen. See the screen. There are 4 or 5 options are there. Out of that 5 options, only 4 options you need to edit. One is descriptive. Under descriptive, edit, give enable for coefficient. Give enable for coefficient. Under extraction, ensure that the method is a principal component rotated method and enable scree plot. Enable scree plot. Eigenvalue will be, it is default to 1, but if you find if it is a 0 or 2, change it to 1. But it default will be 1 only. And then the third option, rotation. Under rotation, ensure that you have to enable vary max. Vary max. And the last one is option. There is a last column called option. There you have to enable sorted by size. Sorted by size. And you can fix the absolute value, coefficient value, minimum 0.4. Minimum 0.4. Now clear what are the options that you need to consider for factor analysis. Okay, so with this, see, this is questions, right? I already told you. For a sample, I've just given an example here. For the 60 questions, you have to import the data and you have to choose all those options and you will get the output like this. See, this is the output which talks about the total variance explained. Now see, I told you, right, there are 16 questions, 16 variables are there. So see, for how many component there is a eigenvalue, this is initial eigenvalue. For how many component it shows that more than 1, for 4. That means it shows that your 16 variable can be compressed to 4 factor. Your 16 variables can be compressed to 4 factors. This confirmation, you can get it from this total variance explained table. Because you just consider that which component has value more than 1 or 1. The eigenvalue should be 1 or more than 1. That shows the number of factors, right? Initially, you may have a confusion. Sir, whether I need to decide factors by myself or SPSS will give. This is what the SPSS will give. Suppose you want to say that you want to fix a factor. That option also is there. I will show you when we are working. Right? So this is the first output table. So based on the eigenvalue, you can get an idea that, sir, my 16 questions, my 16 variables are reduced to 4 factor. That means I am going to have 4 factors for my study. Major factors, right? Okay. After this, we explained that eigenvalue should be minimum 1 or more than that. Okay. Based on that, we can able to confirm whether how your variables or the questions compress to how many factors, right? That is the first thing. And the second one, see, this is a screen plot. I told you, right? So there are 16 variables or the 16 questions. Now see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eigenvalue above 1, there are 4 dots are there, right? That means this, whatever we confirmed from the total variance explained table, the same thing we are going to prove here with the help of the graphical representation. That's all. There is no much difference between the eigenvalue total variance table and the screen plot. Whatever we see in the data in the table format, the same thing they explain in the diagrammatic graphical representation, and it is one way of attracting the reviewers. That's it. So from this we can say that, sir, out of that 16, Okay, or all the 16s, it shows that it is better to compress all the 16s into 4 factors. Okay, that is what the scree plot gives. This is explanation for that. And the third output is commonalities, right? Commonalities, that is called as the factor load. See, they used some 16 or 20 variables or the questions, right? See, in the screenshot, we have seen that coefficient absolute value is 0.3, right? 0.3 we have seen. See, now find out, is there any variable or the items less than 0.3? No. All the 20 variables or the items are almost what? More than the 0.3. So you can consider all these things for your research. Suppose, sir, there is a one item I feel I am taken seriously. That is less than 0.3, sir. Less than 0.3. Whether we need to take, no need to take. You can remove that because that particular variable or item will not give any impact. You can remove. So from this output table, you can get that confirmation. Okay, how you are doing a reliability and finding that your data is valid and reliable for your study. The same thing, whatever the factors or the variables or the items, okay, based on your EFE and CFA, what are things that you are finding out through the literature review. Okay, you have to get a confirmation that whether I'm using a relevant thing for my study. Yes, that confirmation you can get it from this commonalities table by seeing the absolute coefficient value, whether it is less than that particular value or more than that, right? This is a one output table. And component matrix, the next fourth output table is a component matrix where it gives a factor loading value for each items. See, they use 20 items, right? Now it gives explanation. Variable 17, 16, 13, 2, all these things comes under the first component, first factor. See the ninth variable 9 or the item number 9 is there, right? It's clear to me what. Yes, participants, please kindly mute yourself. Participants, kindly mute yourself. Yes. Okay, now see the item number 9 or the variable 9. It's clear to me what my rights are. See, it shows a 0.40 factor loading value in factor component 1 also, and 0.343 in 3 also. That means this variables you can put it either under factor 1 or factor 3 also. The choice is given, but that confirmation we have to make when you are seeing the final output table. So this is a fourth output table which shows the factor loadings for each and every variable or item. Right now, after this, now you may have a confusion, sir, whether I want to put item number 9 under factor 1 or factor 3. That you can decide in the final table called rotated component matrix. See now, so they're telling that you just put it in the factor number 1. So now rotated component matrix output table, it shows that all your 16 or 20 variables or 20 items can be put under 4 factors. Can be put under 4 factors. Which are the items or which are the variables comes under factor number 1. Right? Which are the factors comes, sorry, which are the variables items comes under which factor. So now from this you can say that, sir, my total 20 variables or 60 items compressed to 4 factor, 3 factor. So after getting this confirmation, after confirming this factor, now from this output table, you should take and write new table. Factor 1, you should give name for the factor 1 according to the variables or the items that you are listed here. Factor 1, and what is its eigenvalue? What is the total percentage variation? And then factor 2, like that you need to draw a separate table and you need to confirm your factor under factor 1, which all the items are there, which all the variables are there. under factor 2, which are all the, like that you need to take and write and you need to give an interpretation, right? So this is what the factor analysis way, and then the output column, right? So whatever I shown is like a screenshot just for a better understanding. Okay, now we are going to do a analysis on the factor analysis. Okay, and based on the data which I have. So I think you're clear with all this basic theoretical concept and what you want to interpret from the output table. Any other doubts is there? You just put it in the chat box. Clear about what is factor analysis? What are the terminologies you need to see? And the next thing is, once if you started doing a factor analysis, what are the options that you need to enable? And finally, once if you got it, what are the output is there? From the output, what are the things you need to consider, right? Yes, Nilufur sir. Okay, fine. Satik sir, very good. So far, good. Okay, fine, sir. No full sir. Sir, KMO value. Here we will not go for a Cronbachus alpha. Cronbachus alpha is for reliability. Here we will go for a KMO Bartlett's test. That KMO Bartlett's is just to know that you have a sample adequacy to confirm your factor. That's it. That's why I told you at the initial stage itself, sir, I got 25 samples. Can you do factor? No. That will not give that much impact. Right.
How
if you want
normality, sir.
So normality is also another different test. It's not a comes under factor analysis.
So no
Normality
need to
is
check the normality of the data.
no need to check.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And yes, is in a competent matrix, it results in minus. What does it mean, sir? Results in the minus in the senses, it no need to consider that. No need to consider that particular value. Or sometimes I told you, right, there is a one item number 9, it has been for 2 factor. Sometimes for 2, when it is for a 2 factor, for 1 factor it may be positive value, for 1 factor it may be a negative value also. In that case, you can directly consider the factor positive value alone. No need to consider the negative value. You can just omit it. Right. Okay, now I have a sample data here. Now see, this is my questions. See, I want to know the perception and image attributes. That is the outcome variable, overall variable for my study. Okay, so I had undergone a survey and I collected the samples from the people those are using two-wheeler. And I want to measure the perception and image of attributes of the vehicles that they are having. For example, I may have a Honda Shine, other people may have a Dio, other people will have a TVS XL, other people will have a Royal Enfield or a Hero Honda Passion, whatever it is. So my overall objective is, variable is, I want to measure the perception and image attributes. But I don't know which factors I can frame for the variables that I have. See, now I have 10 variables that I am asking the first question. I use two-wheeler because it is affordable. Affordable is the one factor, right, that you want to consider, that you want to measure the perception image attribute. Second question, it gives me a sense of freedom to own my two-wheeler. Low maintenance cost makes two-wheeler very economically. All like this, I had framed 10 questions. Okay, and all the 10 questions are 7-point scale. See the scale. 1 is completely agree, 7 is completely disagree. So I measured this from 7-point Likert scale. Okay, now after measuring this, I had entered the data in the SPSS and we need to confirm that this 10 questions comes under how many factors. Can I put all these 10 variables under 3 or 4 factors? That you can decide after doing factor analysis. Okay, now I'll take the same sample. I'll share the SPSS window. Yes. Everyone can able to see the SPSS window? Right?
No, sir.
No? Yes, Raful sir is saying yes.
Now
Yes. Yeah, okay, fine. So now see, this is Excel, this is a SPSS view, variable view, already you know variable view, and already I entered the data here, right? See question number 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5. and it's a numeric width. No need to have any changes in the width. A label, it talks about some label, right? Like affordable, right? And then I given the values also. Completely agree, agree, partial agree, moderate, partial disagree, disagree, completely disagree. So like that, I gave the value labels also, right? And after that, remaining things I given a nominal scale because it's an ordinal scale. It's an ordinal scale because we are rating ranging from 1 to 7. So change it to ordinal. Right. Now, if you want, you can write the, you can note down the affordable and the freedom, right? Yes, affordable, freedom. Like that, you can mention here the label value. Okay, since I didn't mention here, just for an example, I'm telling. So after typing all the variables in the variable view column, go to the data view. Go to the data view. Now you can able to see the data view, right? In the data view, already entered what is the value given from 1.7, right? Now I'm just enabling this value label. Now see, whatever the response given by the, for example, I've taken 20. Don't say that, sir, 100 sample you told you are taken just to work out, execute. I just taken 20 sample. Okay, I just enter the 20 data. So I enter the samples given by the 20 peoples. Now, okay, so you know how to enter the data or import the data, all those things. Now go to the analyze. Go to the analyze. Please follow me. Go to the analyze. Dimension reduction. Go to the analyze. Dimension reduction. There is a option called factor. You can able to see, right? Analyze, dimension reduction in that factor. Click that. So you got this window, which we have seen in the PPT screenshot, right? Now, which one I want to measure? I want to measure the 10 questions. So I am selecting all the 10 questions. And then I'm moving on to the right hand side under the variables box. Okay. Now you can tell me that you can just put in the chat box what options we need to choose under descriptive. What options we need to choose under descriptive?
The coefficient.
Coefficient, and I forgot to tell one more thing also. That is
Initial
option.
solution and
No, initial solution, default it will be there. And the correlation matrix coefficient you have to choose, and there is another option in the descriptive KMO Bartlett's test. Okay, I forgot to tell that. That options will be there in the first option called descriptive. Right. Now you give continue. Very good. Right. Now, second option, extraction. Under extraction, what I need to give anyone? You can put it in the chat box, no issue. Under the second option called extraction, which one I need to? Yes, no, full set. Very good. Scree plot, right? And ensure that, see, there is a method called principal component. That is the base for doing factor analysis. Don't think about the other method. Okay. And principal component, choose scree plot. And ensure that eigenvalue is 1. It is default, it will be 1 only. Okay. Now, another options is there, right? See, there is an option called fixed number of factors to extract. Now I have 10 questions, right? 10 items. Now, sir, I want this 10 variables or items to put under 3 factor. I'm deciding I want to put this under 3 factor, right? Now what I have to do is enable this option. Enable this fixed number of factors option. It will enable, the box will open. Now you can enter 3. If you want to fix factors by yourself, this options, it is there. I told you, right, in the screenshot, we discussed about, sir, it's telling that this 20 questions can be put under 4 factor. That was given by SPSS. No, sir, I want to decide means you can change, you can give the number of factors here if you want to give. Otherwise, no need, just delete it. Now I don't want to give any fact, let the SPSS itself give. Okay, when you are working, you just give for some sample and enter some 4 or 3 and find out whether it's able to give or not. Now I'm not going to give anything. because I need SPSS itself to give the number of factors for the variable that I entered. So I'm not giving any number of factors value here. Understood? Any doubts in the extraction option? If you want to fix the
Sir.
factors, yes, ma'am.
The maximum illustration of convergence, what is this?
That is a basic default mem. It is maximum iteration in the sense is number of iteration, number of items that you want to expose, like how many times you want to show in a different
Okay,
factor
sir.
loadings value. Yes. So if you want to decide the factors, number of factors by yourself, there is an option called fixed number of factors under extraction option. Please make a note of it. If not, no need, sir. I don't want to give any factors number, any factors number. Let the SPSS itself divide and give it. In that case, no need to give any option, any numbers there. You just leave it as it is and ensure that principal component method is a scree plot is there and give continue. This is a second thing that you want to do. Okay. Now the third option called rotation. Third option called rotation. In rotation, what options we need to enable? Anyone can put in the chat box what options that you need to enable. Very good, Nofal sir. Very max. Very max. Okay. Very max. Yes, Benazir sir, for 12 variables, can I give 3 factors? Yes, of course you can give. 3 or 4 you can give. If you want to fix factors by yourself, you can give that. Otherwise, SPSS itself will work and give it to you. No problem. Okay. So after giving that very max, give continue. And what is the last option? There is a last one is called option. In that options, ensure that sorted by size. Sorted by size. At the same time, you can fix the value. You can fix the value. What value you want to have? Already told you, default, we need to fix 0.4 minimum. Better 0.4 to make your research work to be more and more quality and value. If you have 0.13 also, it will be very difficult. If you have more more than 0.7 like 8, 9 also will be difficult. So better you can have from 0.4 to 0.6. Right? Right.
Sir, can you please repeat that absolute value? What does it mean on say?
Sir, absolute value, I are given in the screenshot, question number 1, 2, 3, all those questions items has shown some values in the commonalities table, right? 0.56. Yes. Okay. In that value, okay, if you want to fix, sir, I want to confirm whether I need this item or variable from the research study based on that value. That value, if the value is more than that particular point, I can consider that fixing that point, you have to fix here. Absolute value below, you have to fix the point here, point value. For that, only I'm telling, basically, they will fix as a minimum 0.4, maximum 0.6.
Sir, based on what parameter we fix that actually? 0.4 or 5?
No, it is our choice only, because for making your research items to be more and more big. For example, if you take, you are keeping 0.3 or 0.2, okay, and most of the whatever the irrelevant items variable you are using for research, it shows everything 0.2. So what you will do, you will consider everything. Okay. So in that cases, the distribution, normality distributions will not be in a proper way. That means you will say that, sir, you cannot say that the majority of the people are satisfied with this factor. No, because almost the distribution has been equally happened in all the factors. So to avoid that, better you can have 0.4 minimum, 0.6 maximum. Okay, to avoid irrelevant factors. Yeah, yes. Thank you. So after giving these options, after enabling this, give continue. Now our job is done, right? Whatever we discussed in the presentation, whatever the options I have shown you as a screenshot, in that, whatever the things are there, we have selected everything. Okay. Now we need to go for giving an approval. Give OK. So once if it is done, you'll get the output table. I'll show the output table. Wait. Yes. Can you see the output table?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So now see the output table. See, we got KMO bot list test, right? KMO bot list test. See, what is the KMO bot list test value? 0.618 greater than 0.6, right? And we got the commonalities value. All the values are more than 0.4. See, it is not that it is less than 0.4. All the questions are 0.4. This is a total variance. Now see, for how many component the eigenvalues are more than 1? Can anyone tell me in the chat box? From this table,
3.
yes, 3. Very good. Very good. That means your 10 questions or the 10 items can be put under 3 factor. So we didn't fix here. If you want to fix, you will get the same thing. Okay, that means you will get according to your number of factors that you have fixed. So after that screen plot, see the screen plot. Okay, more than the 1, 3 factors, strong factors, major factors for your outcome variable. And this is a component matrix. And finally, this is a rotated component matrix. Now see, sir, question number 7 can put under, question number 7, 4, 5 can put under, 6 can put under factor number 1. Question number 9, 8, 2, 3 can put under factor number 2. And question 10, question 1 can put under factor number 1. Right? So this is what the final outcome table. So for each output table, I will tell you how to write the interpretation. Now, I'm just copy the table and I'll put it in the Word. I'll put it in the Word. And same, I'm just copying and put it in the PPT. Now I'll show the PPT. Yeah. Okay, this is the PPT, right? Now I had copied that K-Moos-Bartlett test from the output table and pasting here. Now you got this K-Moos-Bartlett test, right? This is what we got, right? Yeah. Now, yes. So we got it. Now see 0.618. So we have to write interpretation like this. KMO is an index which defines a sampling adequacy. SIMO test value is 0.618 here in this case, 618, which is more than 0.6, right? Can be considered and acceptable and valid to conduct a data relationship. That means you are able to go ahead with the whatever the items or the way that you asked, you can go ahead because you got the adequate samples for those variables and item, and you proved that all those variables are important to be considered under 3 different factors for measuring your outcome variable. Right now, the significance level is here 0.00, which is less than 0.01. That means you have to write like this, which shows that there is a high level of correlation between those variables. That means whatever the 10 questions that you asked, right, all the 10 questions are highly correlated. It is necessary to ask those questions to measure the perception and image of attributes among the customers, those who are using two-wheeler. It is not that there is no variables irrelevant to your outcome variable. So you're asking about affordable, you're asking about the freedom, you're asking about the usage, you're asking about the economical level. All these things are relevant because you want to measure the perception and image attributes of the people those are having two-wheeler. Definitely, those are using two-wheeler, we will consider all these factors, right? Yes. So this is how you have tried the interpretation for KMO. To say that, to prove that you have a sample adequacy so that you can carry out the next output for doing a factor analysis. Right. Now, this is a way to write your K-Moos-Bartlett test output. Right. Now, what is the second output we discussed? Second output is, I'll show the output table. Yes. Second output, commonalities, right? Commonalities. I think screen plot is also there, right? First, we'll go with this commonalities. I'll copy this commonalities and I'll paste it in the PPT. Now you can able to see the PPT, right? Next output is commonalities. I'm going to paste here. So this is what the value we got, right? Almost see all the values are almost more than 0.4 because we said 0.4, right? See, it is not that no other value is less than 0.4. Only one value is up to 0.452. Right. Now after this, after copying this output table, you have to write the interpretation like this. See, every variable in the commonality initially expected to share 100% variance. Hence, initially every item is having a value 1. Okay, the eigenvalue. The eigenvalue 1. This one, see, initial value. Commonalities for initial value is 1. 100% variance share between the extraction value is ranging from, you have to identify what is the maximum value, what is the minimum value. That means maximum variation and minimum variation of each item. When you compare the maximum variation, where is that maximum point? Is that 945, 950, 955? Yes, 955. This is the maximum variation range point. Okay, 955. Is there any other value more than that? No. Then which is the least one? 0.452. 0.452. Right. Now here we are right. The extraction value ranging from 0.955 to 0.452. 0.452, which indicates that maximum variation of the items after extraction is 95.5%. Minimum variation is 45.2%. Just to show the variation, you have 10 questions, right? You have 10 items. So maximum this point you are getting, minimum this point you are getting. This is a variation, but all the 10 are interrelated, correlated. It is applicable for measuring your outcome variable. Okay, just to prove that how far they're having that variation, the range. It is not that it is having a total deviation. It is between from 0.4 to 0.9. Within that only it has that correlation, right? That means, sir, sometimes out of the 10 questions, 6 questions will have a high impact. 4 questions will be at the moderate level. But there is no question that doesn't have any impact because we got the value more than 0.41. So in that case, we can show the variations. What is the maximum and the minimum variation percentage? So this is a way to write your interpretation for the second output table commonalities. And the third one is third output, what you told, third output was screen plot, right? Yes, screen plot. I'll share the output of screen and we'll copy the, yeah. And this is a screen plot, right? This is a screen plot. I'll copy and I will paste in the PPT. Yeah, now I paste in the PPT, right? Okay. I think you can see the screen plot, right? Now see. So you can write like this. The screen plot shows the component x-axis and the corresponding eigenvalue. The y-axis is a eigenvalue, right? X-axis is a component. That is how many questions, how many items that you ask. And then first components, consider whose eigenvalues are. You have to see from the output table. From the output table, the eigenvalue is a 3.883. 3.883 and then 2.77, 1.3745, 2.77 and 1.275. This is what the three component eigenvalue. I will show that output table, will understand. Yes. Now see, this is a total variance, right? So the screen plot I had copied and I pasted. And when I write in the interpretation, I'm taking the first 3 components. Values are 3.883, 2.77, 1.275. 375. That is what I wrote here in the PPT. This I wrote here, see. Okay, and hence 3.883 is the maximum eigenvalue. Right? That is the maximum. That means that is only one factor that has more than 1. Right? So now hence 3.883 is the maximum eigenvalue. Hence, this factor is more significant followed by the other 2 factors. Therefore, all these factors are having eigenvalue greater than 1 and sharing the maximum variance. Hence, you can consider this item to present under the particular 3 factors. Right? This is the way to write the interpretation for the screen plot. Okay. Now, next one is, what is the next outcome? Commonalities, right? Okay. I'll copy the commonalities table. Sorry, total variance explained table. I'm pasting here. I'm just copying it and pasting in the PPT here. Right, this is the output table of total variance explained. Yes. Now only this 3 as eigenvalue has more than 1. Right? And these are the percentage variation. Right? Now what you have to do is outright this interpretation for the total variance explained. I'll go to the next slide. So this is a way to write the total interpretation. Total variance contributed by first component is, what is the first component? This is the first component. What is the total variance? 38.828. So 38.828. Followed by the second component, 27.770. 27.770. Third one is a 13.347. 13.347. Therefore, and the eigenvalue for all the 3 components are greater than 1. As per the rule, it is equal and then greater than 1 also. And it is clear that there are 3 components. There are 3 components are greater than 1 for the given set of variable. Okay, and each eigenvalue for factor 1 is same thing we have to copy from the screen plot. This is the eigenvalue for the first 3 component, right? So you can mention the interpretations. First factor 1 is 3.883 and the eigenvalue for the factor 2 is 2.777 and the eigenvalue for the third factor is 1.275. That's it. So this is a way to write the interpretation for your third output table, total variance explained table. Okay, now you understood how to write the interpretation for Kaymer-Bartels to prove the sample adequacy. Second thing is you have to copy the eigenvalue table, commonalities table, and prove that all the items are correlated, which has a maximum variation, minimum variation. Third one is a screen plot. Screen plot to show about that, okay, in a diagrammatic representation that how many factors are there or how many the given variables that are given or the given questions has been divided into how many factors based on the eigenvalue. And the fourth output table is the total variance explained table to show the what is the eigenvalue as well as the percentage of variation of each and every factors. And the next one is rotated component matrix. That is the fifth output table. I will copy that and I'll put it in the board and I'll tell you how to write the interpretation. Right, this is the one table. Now I have just copied. Right, I had copied here. This is a component matrix. Okay, why I'm telling this component matrix means I already told you sometimes there are some variables. Okay, you need you will get it that this 0.97 in the factor 1 also, another value in factor 3 also. Okay, to get that verification whether there is a maximization of variables or there or not, only the component matrix will tell you. But from that component matrix, okay, we cannot get a confirmation that yes, sir, I'll put the item number 7 under factor 1. If it is a true value, we need to confirm only after seeing the final output table called principal rotated component matrix. Okay, now after this is a component matrix, this is the output table, right? And next, after seeing the last output table only, we can interpret. Okay, rotated component matrix. That is the last output table. You need to look into that. Now, I'll delete this. Now I'll put this here. Okay, this is a rotated component matrix. This is the final output table. Okay, by seeing this, now you can confirm how many what are the questions or variables comes under which factor. Now see, this is called as a factor 1, right? This is called as a factor 1, all these things. Okay, all these things called as a factor 1, right? Now, that's a factor I wrote there, yes. These are all factor 1 and these are all factor 2. These are all factor 2. Right, and then this is factor 3. This is factor 3. Okay. Now see, in the factor 1, there is a 1 negative value. Okay. Sometimes you may get. So in that case, what you can do is you can omit. No problem. Even though if it shows a coefficient value more than 0.4, but that particular questions is not applicable to the factor 1. Oh, sorry, factor 2. Right. See the previous table. Is there any distribution of points, question number freedom is there? No. Only one factor it has given a value. So in that case, you can omit that. Suppose now the same freedom put it got the factor loading value in factor 1 as some value. For example, take 0.575. Okay, now in this case, you can consider this freedom under the factor 1 instead of going for factor 2. Okay, in some cases you will get it. If not, no issue, don't worry, you leave that. You can delete that, no issue. So this is how the factors you need to decide, right? Now, next one is, now I'm going to take this factor, right? Factor 1, 7, 4, 5, 6, 9. So what is that 7, 4, 5, 6, 9 question? I'll go to the data. 7, 9, 5, right? 5. Okay. 7, 9, 5. 7, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 4, 5, 6. These are the questions comes under factor 1. So I will name it as a, now these are the values comes under factor 1, right? Now in the next slide, what I'm going to do is, now from this only you have to draw a new table and you have to explain that factor 1. See, factor 1, I'm naming it as a pride. I'm naming it as a pride. So which talks about question number 4, and then question number 5, question number 6, or the item number 6, item number 7, right? What is there? What is their loading value? 0.971, 971, and 970, 964, 970, 964, 945. Okay, and what is the variations, total percentage variations, which we can see it in the eigen table, right? 38.828, 38.828, 38.828. Eigenvalue is 3.8 something, right? 3.8. Like that, you have to take and write. So now you have to explain the factor 1. What is the factor 1? Pride. Factor 1 is I am naming it as a pride. and naming it as a pride. Now the eigenvalue for factor 1 is 3.82 with 38.828 percentage variation, and the variables related to pride 1 are, you can write that. Okay, what is that variable? Question number 4, 5, 6. Question number 5, essential, powerful, jealous, and add. Okay, essential, powerful, jealous, and add. Essential, powerful, jealous, and add. Okay, which thinks that that particular bike is essential for me. That gives more powerful pride for me. Okay, many people feel jealous about me. When I seeing the ad, I feel proud that I am also the one of the owner of the particular ad. This is all these things. So that's why I'm mentioning that as a one of the first factor as a pride, and then after that related to a variable related to pride. Okay, so factor 1 has a very high significant loading and variable. What is the first variable? Essential. Okay, 0.971. And then powerful 0.970. And jealous, they are feeling, others are feeling jealous about him or whatever it is, right? We can mention the point here, 0.964. And add advertisement, that is advertisements, 0.945. Okay, so like this, you have to write the interpretation for the final factor table. Okay, now I have taken this from the previous rotated components matrix. I have taken this one factor, and I written an interpretation now. Similarly, now go for the second one. Now, second one I'm going to write here. Second one I'm giving a name as comfort or maintenance. Now mention those variables here. This is a previous one. You mentioned that those variables. For example, question number 9823. Question number 9, question number 8, question number 2, and question number 3. What is that variables? From the questions you can get it. Okay, and then like that you have to write factor 2, comfort and maintenance with eigenvalue with the percentage. Similarly, now we wrote the interpretation for 2 factor. Now third one also you have to do. Third one talks about Q3, Q10, affordable, Q1, question 1. But Q3 already we consider in the second factor, because when you compare the two values for second factor, it has highest value. So you consider that question number 3, item number 3 for the factor 2. Whereas remaining 2, you can consider third factor. And again, for third factor, you take it and write some name for that and give the interpretation. Right. So this is the way to write the interpretation for the factor analysis of all the output table. And another important thing is, it is not necessary that you have to mention all the output table. When you are doing factor analysis, KMOS-Bartlett's output table is very, very important. Okay, please put the KMOS-Bartlett's table output and interpretation in your paper. Followed by that, if you want to put, you can put the screen plot to make your paper to be more attractive in a diagrammatic way. Otherwise, put the final rotated component matrix output table, this one you have to put. And then after this, you extract the new table and write it like this interpretation. So only these things you can mention in the paper. But I explained everything, what are the output you want to know. Just for your informations, I told everything. But this 2 table is mandatory to show that you have done a factor analysis. KMO-Bartlett's test, and then the final principal rotated component matrix. Right? So this is the way how to do a factor analysis. So I have done the samples here, right? Okay, now already I shared one sample data to the participants. Can any participants can open that? I think I'll show the question here. Yes. Can you able to see the screen? Wait, I'll share the screen. Yes, I think you got this questionnaire sample, right? For this sample only, I had sent the sample data. Okay. Now see, in this questionnaire, they developed the factor. Okay. But if you want to confirm, sir, whether monetary benefits will come under this factor, globalization will come under this factor, to confirm that also you can put, but ensure that you don't need to consider this factor. When you're asking the questionnaire, you remove this, you delete this, and then ask the questions directly like this. And based on the response, and then confirm this 14 items or the questions will divide it into how many factors. Then you can name it. Okay, suppose what I explained, right? It's like exploratory factor analysis. I know the exact factor, but I want to make the entire variables into compressed to a small number of factors. Then you can give the name. But in some cases, I already told you, in some cases, they may already explore their factor through the literature review or various things. Just to confirm, you can put this and just confirm that all these things are applicable under 1 factor or 2 factor or 3 factor. Okay. Now, I think you got the sample data, right? This Excel sheet, I sent you based on this questionnaire sample data. And anyone can open that SPSS window. I'll stop sharing. If anyone wants to go for the SPSS window. Yes, no full sir. Yes, sir, make no full sir as a co-host. No full sir. Yeah.
Yes, shall I share it?
Yes, sir, you can share, sir.
Please give the access.
Yes, sir, will give. No, okay, I'll give it. Don't problem. Yes, sir, I made you as a co-host, sir. You can share your screen.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir. Good, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Kindly change your measurement scale, sir.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, it is basically to now. Yeah. Very good, sir. So, Sarah is showing the screen. Yeah. Analyze, dimension reduction, factor analysis. Select all the items into descriptive statistics. We have to select coefficient, KMO atlas, continue. Extraction, correlation, correlation. It will be there only screen plot. You have to choose screen plot. And one more minute, sir. Sir, we will give one more. Now you can fix the factor because I are done without fixing the factor. Okay. You can fix how many factors you want to make this 14 variables to compress into how many factors.
4 if I put 4?
Oh,
4?
no problem. Put, sir. No problem. We'll see. Just trial only. Okay, no problem. Okay. Continue. Rotation, we need to choose a Varimax. Okay. Very good. Very good. Continue. And no need to give any options. We need to choose sorted by size and make it as a 0.4. Yes, very good, sir. Continue. And give OK. You will get the output window that you have to share, sir. Go to new share, then share the output table.
Okay.
Window. Yeah.
1 second. Sir, is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it is visible. Now the first table is correlation matrix. Yeah, and then we got the commonalities. See, all the commonalities are more than 0.4. And yes, sir, it has been given 4 factors, right?
Yes.
But in the questionnaire, they already decided the 2 factors only. But now we can confirm that even we can divide this number of items into 4 factors also.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever we decided now, it's able to give SPSS. SPSS is able to give that. Suppose SAR, if SAR is not fixed to 4, definitely SPSS would have given a 3 or maybe sometimes 4 also. Okay. Good, fine, sir. Come down, sir. Come down, sir.
Sir,
And see the screen.
KMO table is not showing.
KMO
Not
table is not
selected.
showing.
Not selected, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. No, that's not a problem. Fine.
Not a problem. Okay.
No problem. Come down, sir. Screen plot.
Next screen plot, sir.
Screen plot. Okay.
Okay.
And then come down, sir. So we have to see the component
These are the
matrix.
points, sir. Above
4. 4 factors are there. Right. And come down, sir. Component matrix. See now. See in the previous the sample that I worked out, we didn't get the variable maximization. See that name called good infrastructure. It takes part in first and fourth also. See about the customer takes part in 3.
3, okay.
Now we need to ensure that, sir, where I can put this. Okay, by seeing the maximum value, we can consider that. But to get that confirmation, we have to go for the rotated component matrix. Now go to the rotated component matrix. Now see, it has given clearly that better that customers, you can put it in the third factor number 3.
3, okay.
Yeah.
And
So now
the
it is
minus value, sir?
minus, that means no need to consider under factor 4. You can consider under factor 2 because 0.4516. That is the maximum, right? Compared to minus 6. Yeah. Now it has been divided into 4. Come down, sir. Yeah. Now the 4 factors, it has been given the values, factor load. So from this, yes, sir.
So there is a word called rotation converged in 4 iteration.
That means, no, it has been converted into 4 factors.
Factor.
Rotation takes place into 4 factors.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So now Sarah has shown the output table. Now from the output table, you know how to write the interpretation. I explained you how to write the interpretation for each and every output table. Write it and ensure that when you are putting output in the paper, when you're writing a paper, ensure that KMOS Bartlett's table with the interpretation. Final rotated component matrix. Please don't select the component matrix table. Okay. Select rotated component matrix table, and from that you prepare a one table and confirm that, sir, the factor name for the factor 1 is this, factor 2 is this, factor 3 is this. Under this, these are the items coming. These are the eigenvalue and the percentage variation. This is what I'm interpreting. That is the way to do.
So one more doubt. This
yes,
first factor, there are 4 components. No? So it grouped together, right? So that means
yes.
This, only these four has a high correlation.
Correlation with the first factor.
So more homogeneity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You can stop sharing.
Okay. Do I need to this one to do a KMO test or a KMO value?
No problem. Just check and do so. No issue. It's not that because we explained that. No problem.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. So as Sarah has told that he has explained everything, and now it's a question session. So if any doubts, anything to be clarified, you can clarify. I hope you understood. You can also just work out what are the samples are given. Any queries, you can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute and you can ask.
Sir, I have one set of data I have collected.
Yes, sir.
And I thought of applying it this factor analysis.
Okay. You can try, sir. You can try. No issue. Benazir, sir. Oh, you want to share the screen? You just try and tell me, sir, is there any doubts? If you have, you can just ask.
Sure.
Yes, and Benazir told us that can there be a one variable in a factor, sir? It's very rare, sir. We cannot say that one variable in be a factor. It's very rare. But if you have that one variable, no to consider that, right? You can do to take it as a factor. What is the impact that is going to create because of that one variable? Yes. Any doubts? Any queries? Please, you are welcome. Since it's a Sunday, you people are showing interest and you started learning everything day by day. Yes, yes, sir. Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Balaji, sir. Dr. Balaji, sir.
Sir, in my questionnaire, there are 25 questions are there.
Okay, sir.
So the sample size must be 125, not or 25 into 5.
Yes, sir.
If it is 200 above,
No, it's no
is
issue.
there any
No problem.
problem?
No. I'm just talking about the minimum.
Okay, thank you. Minimum.
So that
Okay,
why
sir.
why minimum sample is when you go for a minimum sample only, it's able to that is the concept of rotated components matrix. Even if you see the exploratory factor analysis, it is also called as a reduction technique. When you go for a more sample only, you'll come to know that, sir, which are the variables are related or correlate each and everyone, so that I cannot repeat the same question. I cannot repeat the same variable. To avoid that only, we need to go for rotated components matrix. So that's why I'm telling that better you can go for a maximum sample, but make ensure that minimum should have 100, so that that very max concept will work out properly. Could you please share the video? Yes, ma'am, we will inform you everything, okay, in the WhatsApp group. Sir, please repeat the interference where to see percentage of variance. Sir, percentage of variance and eigenvalue should be seen in the output table called total variance explained
Okay.
output table.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
I will show you, sir. Don't worry. This is the table, sir. Third output table. Third. KMOs, commonalities. Third will be the total variance. Fourth will be screen plot. Fifth will be component matrix. Sixth will be rotated complex matrix. Yes, sir. Very nice sessions. Okay, fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other doubts? If people are not asking any doubts for the past 6 days, you are asking a lot of doubts. Now I think it's a Sunday since you are not having any doubts, or you want to leave earlier. No problem. Thank you very much, sir, for 7 days and such nice also. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you, sir. Very good sessions. Thank you, Excelsior, ma'am. Thanks for 1%. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, I think that I had addressed the 2 questions, right? Okay, fine. So thank you so much for all the participants for being with us for the 7 day, and that too. This is today is Sunday, and that too evening time 5 to 7. Okay, so really we are proud to have this kind of a participant that's showing enthusiastic participation even on Sundays and learning a lot from all the 7 days. Okay, so with that, thank you all once again. Heartful thanks to all the participants from all over the world for showing interest on our workshop. We'll be in touch with us, and we'll be meet you in the futures based on the some other multivariate analysis or advanced multivariate analysis. So with that, I'm signing off you from this session. So thank you all. Over to you, Maxen, sir.
Am I audible, sir? Yes, sir. So learn continually. There is always one more thing to learn. Steve Jobs. Good evening, one and all present here. We are at the end of 7 days workshop on data analysis using SPSS. I am very much happy to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I would like to thank our God Almighty for the grace and blessings to conduct this program successfully. Next, I would like to thank our beloved principal, Reverend Dr. Augustine George, for his guidance and motivation to conduct this workshop successfully. Thank you, Father. I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Aloysius Edward, Dean, Management and Commerce, for his continuous encouragement to do these type of programs. Thank you, sir. I'm really grateful to our head of the department, Dr. Surendranath Reddy, sir, for supporting us and be with us in all the ways throughout the program. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank our coordinator, Dr. Ajay Abraham Thomas, sir, for his moral support and encouragements. Then I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizers of the workshop, Professor Sukut Thomas Samuel, Professor Prasad Kumar. Thank you, professors. My heartfelt thanks to all the resource persons from the day 1 to day 7, Professor Somasundaram, Dr. Leelavadi, Professor Prasad Kumar, Dr. XLC, Professor Arun Prakash, and Dr. Shubha, because even in their busy academic schedule, they have accepted our invitation and everyone did their role perfectly. Without their support, this is not possible. Thank you, dear resource persons. Last but not the least, I am very grateful and thankful to all the staff members and participants from various institutions for your support and presence. Once again, I thank you one and all. And dear participants, we have shared feedback form link in the chat box. So kindly fill the feedback form because your valuable suggestions help us to plan more programs like this in the future. And one more announcement. We will be giving certificates of participation in 2 weeks of time. Most of you asking about videos. Regarding video, we will be sharing the link in a week of time. Thank you, everyone. We end the session here.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, participants. We'll meet you in future. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Konga Arts and Science College.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know, ma'am.
Thank
I
you,
know.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So, participant, kindly fill the feedback form link. It would helpful us.
Yes, sir, full.